Alright guys, this is going to be another Code Talker. It's probably going to be the last one I do. I got the 4-man set. These parts are all going to change a little bit. This is just preliminary thing. This is the leftover bits and pieces from the other one I did, Rainmaker. I stole a bunch of pieces off of this one, put it on his backpack. This backpack is going to change because I'm probably going to mount the crossbow in there. That's gridiron, that's gridiron. That came with that. I think that's a gridiron arrow that came from the other kit. That's gridirons. Goes in there. It's all Joe parts. This is a Marauders. I think that's gridiron. These are Star Wars skirts off some female figure. Marvel bits, Joe bits. That is from the Thor figure. So that way they all have birds, they all have radios, of course. So I'm just going to start hacking and chopping, fitting things where they fit. Maybe I'll try and give a couple updates as I go. But that's basically the parts I'm going to use for this. I haven't given him a name yet, but stay tuned for more. Alright guys, latest one is finished. Last one out of the set. I'm only going to do 4, at least at this time. So this guy, he's going to be a forward observer like the rest of them, one of the Code Talkers. I googled Native American God of War, and it came up with a name called Kemoxtili, something like that. Probably pronouncing it wrong. I apologize to anybody I offended. So that's what I'm going to call him, just because he looks more of the like warrior type out of all of them. This guy here, he looks like more of like a stalker, crawling around the bush, with the hat he's got on. He's the leader. That's just the regular figure that hasn't been modified, and that guy back there, he's more of like the I guess the long range, like way out in the bush kind of guy. That's why he's got the big powerful radio. So anyway, here's what I've done with him. So the head, armbands, leg bands, and belt are all from the Marvel Legends Warpath, I believe. Well, we'll go here. This chest piece is just toothpicks that I glued together. There is a piece of cloth on the back to bind it all together. This emblem thing in the middle is from all their belts. So I wanted to have something that unified them to, like the same tribe, even though maybe they're not all technically from the same tribe. Both of these I've painted with a turquoise paint that didn't really come out right, but as you can see, it's this strap. So I had 2 of them, so I put them on there, connected them to the belt. The mag holder and the holster for the pistol all come from the belts. So the belt that came with him I didn't use, so I just chopped it up and I saved all the extra bits, but glued them on there as a cross draw. What else we got? I just grabbed one of the knives because I think it was him. I didn't use that knife, so I gave him 2 knives. I thought that was kind of cool. What else on him? Obviously paint. I wanted this to look like this is like fresh buckskin, and this is like old buckskin that he's sweated through and gotten dirty quite a bit, from running around. this here, let me just zoom in, if it'll focus. That there is a like the small walkie-talkie kind of thing that comes with the Marauder Task Force figures. If I can spin this around. So then it goes back to the radio. I made that cord actually from a Q-tip shaft. And if you guys want to know how to do that, I can do a video on that. It's super easy. And then I just glued that on there. This actually has an antenna in here, and I just stuck that on the antenna and glued it down. Alright, oop, wrong way. So let me spin him around. See the back side of him. So the two straps, I just had them meet in the middle. And then I took a piece of scrap strap and just glued that down there. That's basically it for the back. I did repaint the red on the head to match the red here, and then as much as I could here. I did not paint the shirt to match this red because I wanted all their reds to match as part of their unified uniform, which is also why I didn't change anything on his shirt. Like I said, they will all have the same rank because I wasn't going to scrape off that and put new ones on or try and add stripes or whatever. It just wasn't that important to me. Alright, so down here, this is the other Thor, I guess they're crows or whatever, from the Thor figure. This is a Gridiron Props crossbow. I did shade the lens a little bit on both ends, and I glued the arrow in because the tip broke off. These things are like super thin, super fragile. So I just glued the arrow in so I could glue the tip back on. This rifle is from Valaverse's Action Force line. So I wanted him just to have like a cool snipery rifle kind of thing. Pistol that came with him. The two knives that came with him. This is a Gridiron machete that I painted. Actually, I just used a silver Sharpie for the blade edge, which goes on the backpack. Now these come like that on this specific backpack. I didn't cut any of those off, re-glue them on. They just come like that. I did cut off the radio holster, glued that on the side, gave everything a repaint. After I cut this slot in here. So give me a second and I'll show you how the crossbow fits in there. Alright, so I plugged the crossbow in. The floor plate that was in there, you could see before I had cut out, and that supports it, you know, when it's up and down. But also that slot I cut in the back, the handle fits in there. The handle underneath, like that, plugs in there, and I made it so it's tight. You know, this sucker's not going anywhere. So if I'm moving the figure around, it's not going to fall off and be a problem. So you can see that handle goes in that hole, and then that just plugs right into his back. So what I'll do now is I'll assemble him and take some more pictures. Alright, here he is assembled. One thing I did forget to mention is the armbands and the leg bands. They are removable. I didn't glue them in place. just in case I want to change them up or throw them on somebody else real quick or whatever. They fit snug enough that they don't really move. This skirt thing, I wanted to have a throwback to the original that they didn't add from Hasbro. So front and rear, it's actually a I want to say Jyn Erso skirt from the 4-inch line. I don't know, I'm not really a Star Wars guy, but I picked a couple of them up from Five Below years ago, mostly just for the accessories. But that's a skirt that I actually cut in half and glued to the body, front and back, and then I put the belt on and glued the belt to the body. So these don't move, and when I articulate the leg, this is soft enough, especially if it's warm in the room you're in. It's really flexible, so I can put him into a seated position if I want to with some effort, but I'm probably never going to do that. This guy's just going to sit on the shelf and collect dust as soon as I'm done filming this, probably. So just wanted to give you that info in case you're wondering where that come from. So yeah, here he is. He's got both the knives. I figured that'd be cool to have him, you know, running, coming at somebody with two knives. Let's get the bird out of the way. Sniper rifle. Oop, if I get him in the pose here. Now the only thing that's kind of janky is, let me just zoom in. Keep forgetting I got the zoom. The handle here is close to the back of his head. So, like in real life, if he were to look up, he'd probably whack himself in the back of the head. If I want to, I can spin this around. It will sit in here enough to hold itself in, but then the scope hits the back of the backpack a little bit, so it kind of, like, you can't see my hand. It'll kind of lean out a little bit, and then if you bump them, it could fall off. But I mean, I'm good with that. I'm never gonna have him look up. He's just gonna look cool. So here's everything all together in the backpack. Got the machete in there. Spin it around. And that's basically it. And with his bird, the bird I can put on the arm. I could just put a little micro dab of hot glue on there, and that'll hold him in. And then if I want to take it off, I just pop it off because the hot glue will just peel right off, won't hurt anything. So that's basically him. He'll go in with the rest of his teammates like such. And I got my Code Walker team. So we got Kamax Tule there. I'm actually brain farting on that guy's name, but he's in the other video. That's just the stock Spirit as it came, aside from his satellite phone. And then I believe that's Howling Wolf. They all have their birds. Well, that's actually a drone. But then you got the two birds here. And these two I like because they can be interchangeable. So I could have this one, and I really haven't even named the birds. But I could have this one flying in, and then that one sitting on an arm, because the birds are identical. It's just one has the wings open, one has the wings closed, so they are interchangeable. Should I want to take some diode pictures or something or whatever with them in action poses. The only time that may be a problem is if I use these two guys together. But hey, you'll have that. But that's the Code Talkers. Thanks for watching.